We are sitting in a DHC-4 de Havilland Caribou. These planes were designed for personnel or troop transport and cargo transport. The United States used them during the Vietnam War quite a bit for those purposes, but there's still a few operating in Canada for bush operations and cargo transport. The plane uses Pratt & Whitney R2000 radial engines. Now, the plane eventually inspired the development of the de Havilland Buffalo, which is turbine aircraft, similar. Carries considerably more load, it's got more horsepower. But this plane is one of my favorites. It flies slow, it takes off slowly, it lands quickly in short distance, and one of the features that is unusual compared to other planes that I've flown is that these radial engines, the propeller can be put into reverse pitch or beta pitch, which is normally what you'd find on, let's say, turbine engines. What we're going to do in this video is go through the startup procedure and taxi. Now, as always, the videos where I'm focusing just on the main features that a sim pilot would want to know to try to fly the plane as realistically as possible. However, we are not covering the complete checklist. We're not necessarily doing the radio calls. There is so much more involved in flying a real one in real conditions. So you have to realize that we are just doing bare bones basics and not the way you would normally prep and pre-flight and run up a plane like this, or any plane. So we'll get started here. Now, the startup procedure on this simulator version is not quite accurate, as I'll explain. So we'll be forced to cut a few corners here, but I will explain how it's normally done. So we'll get going here. So we're sitting, everything cold, shut down on the apron. In another video, I'll show the Caribou on doing a circuit landing and actually backing up with the reverse pitch. So we'll take a look. That's the nose wheel tiller, or for steering the nose wheel. Above, we've got mixtures, propeller, and throttle for each engine. Now, the mixtures have an auto mix position that we'll be using. That's the reverse pitch position if you pull it right back. There's two red lights on the dash that'll come on to indicate that we're in fact in reverse pitch. So it's primarily used for braking. Now, that's the control lock, so we'll take it off. The reverse pitch is for braking, but also you can back up down unimproved runways if you can't turn around. So we'll do a quick control check. Rudders, and there's our ailerons left and right. Elevator up and down, and rudder left and right. So what I'm going to do is get rid of the control yoke so we can see the instruments and switches a little better. Now, there's the engine gauges, and over here is the startup gauge. And what we're going to do is start up the right engine. Now, normally we don't put it into auto mix rich right away. You can run it off the primer, but this simulator won't allow that. It won't start unless we do it this way. So battery master on, mags off. They're actually were on both here because I had just been playing around with them. So now they're in the off position, which is correct. Master start on, primer on right engine. This vibe switch is normally left on the right engine. And auto start, the propeller turns about 6 blades on a hot engine, 15 blades or so, or 10 blades on a cold engine, and away we go. Now, at this point, normally the vibe switch, once we get up to 1000 RPM, can be released, the primer released, and the auto mixture put full rich. But like I said, the simulator doesn't allow it. So left engine ready to start. Primer to left engine, vibe switch to left engine, and start switch left engine, and left engine mags on both after 6 blades go by, and check the engine gauges, oil pressure's up, RPMs at slow idle. That's our airspeed indicator. Gyro compass, altimeter should be set at circuit or at ground elevation at 860, so we'll do that. And gyro compass is accurate, but only we haven't this particular gyro compass. We have to wait until it gets gyro spool up, and then we'll reset. And we'll do that on another video when we're taking off. The flap indicator is on the left there from 0 to 40 degrees. Airspeed indicator, that's 100 knots, and there's a rotating dial inside that gives fractions of the 100 knots. So we'll get lined up here. We've got both engines running, oil pressure's up, and that gets us ready for taxiing. Now remember, we are using checklists, but it doesn't appear in the video. Normally that's what you would do. With a big aircraft like this, there's quite a few pages to go through. You couldn't possibly do it out of memory without making a mistake. So let's assume we've made our radio calls and we're beginning our taxi. We're at an uncontrolled aerodrome, so we're announcing all our moves. So we get the plane rolling, throttle back a bit, and we'll do a full stop before entering the active runway. So we look for traffic left and right, make our radio calls, and when it's clear we'll throttle up and backtrack on runway 02. Also, I'm not demonstrating a full run-up with the aircraft. I have on other videos with smaller aircraft, but again, for the sake of keeping the focus on certain aspects of flying the aircraft, we are leaving out an awful lot of absolutely necessary things that should be done. The run-up for a Caribou is essentially basically the same as any other aircraft. But if enough people are interested, I can do a video just on the pre-flight and run-up of a Caribou. So I don't see any traffic coming. We'll do our 180. With a big aircraft like this, it's usually I would do a run-up off the runway rather than in the little bay there, which is more suitable for a small Cessna. So check our flap setting. We're going to take off with, I think, 25 here. 15 to 25. 25 gives us the best performance on a short strip. And we're ready to go. So in another video, we'll demonstrate the takeoff and circuit of a DH-4 Caribou.